Hi, I'm Callie, and I am building a website builder over the next few months. I am entering into Sprint 1, which is all about setting up my repo and getting it ready to use. But of course, I wouldn't be me if I made a last minute change of mind and uh, completely threw off the plan. So before my Coding with Callie website was written in TypeScript on the front end with React and TypeScript with Node on the back end, and also with Nest.js. And this worked for a very long time. And one of the reasons why I picked that tech stack was because of the job that I was doing at the time. We used the same tech stack. But now I'm in a new job. I'm a site reliability engineer at HashiCorp, and we use Golang. So I've been itching to dive deeper into Go and to kind of learn more in my own projects. So I've decided that I am going to build the back end of the Coding with Callie website builder in Go. Now, this doesn't really change my plan too much. Sprint 1 is still about having a repo all set up. It's just going to be a little bit more research and legwork to get it all set up, because before my plan was to copy over my auth module from my original website, and now I'm going to have to translate it to Go. But that honestly sounds like a fun problem to have. Anywho, let's look at my Sprint 1 plan. All right, so Sprint 1, I need to have, as an admin, a new repo all set up and ready to use. All right, let's take a look at the design and kind of see, or like the workflow, and see what that looks like. So when localhost 3000 is loaded, all right, what I want to be happening behind the scenes is I want to look at if I have an access token as a cookie. All right, if I do, then I'm going to ping my API's user details route and try to get the user details for whoever has that access token, which would be me. Then if user details are returned, that means the access token was validated, and I will see this at the end of Sprint 1. I should just see my header, which has a logo, the company name, and then my profile picture, and a footer, which will say connect with me, and then a bunch of social media links. In the middle, there's going to be a temporary Callie's logged in or Callie's not logged in, because that's really what I'm testing in this sprint, is making sure that I have everything set up and ready to go. So that is the happy path if I'm signed in as an admin. But let's go up and let's look at another option. So let's say I still have an access token saved in a cookie. I'm still going to then have user details pinged, but if user details are not returned, that means that my access token is not valid. Maybe it's timed out, or maybe it's just the wrong access token. So instead, what's going to load when I load localhost 3000 is just the anonymous user view. I'm going to see the logo, the Coding with Callie company name, and my footer with all my social media links, but I'm going to see no one is logged in. This is just a temporary placeholder just so I can test and verify that my login works. All right. So you can see that there's two arrows pointing to this because there's two edge cases for this. The other edge case is that we have, if there's no access token in the cookie, then we can skip the whole getting user details and we can go straight to the anonymous user view. All right. Let's take a look at what that looks like in terms of data. All right. So in order to log in, we need to make a post request to log in. And this is only going to be available via API. So I'd have to use Postman or a curl request or something like that in order to do this. But if I post to log in with my username and password, then I will get a access token back, and I can save that access token in a cookie. So that is kind of the prereq that I need to be able to do in order to get to this workflow. Okay, how does the login function work? Well, the login function will check the database for the user, verify the user's password, and create and return an access token. All right. At this time, I need to make sure I have a user already loaded in my database. All right. And the user is going to be me. and I'm going to be an admin. I'm going to have a link to my S3 bucket where my photo is stored, my username, password, first name, last name, and ID. A change from my old website to this one is the schema a little bit. Before I just had one field for name, but I noticed when people were signing up for my website that there is a lot of variety in name that they put. So I decided to make it a little bit more structured with first name and last name. All right. And yep, some notes that I added to my plan. The header and footer will be hard-coded for MVP. Eventually, I'd like to have a website table so that way users could make multiple websites, or multiple users could each have their own website where they would fill in the information for the header and the footer. But for now, I'm going to eat my own dog food and I'm going to be my own user. So I only need one. So for MVP, I'm just going to hard code the header and footer and the logo and company name. And the footer will link to LinkedIn, YouTube, GitHub, and email. Let's take a look at what that looks like on my checklist planning board. All right, so if you look, I have my website builder MVP here, and in progress, we have sprint 1. Let's open it up. I've broken this up into 2 chunks of work. So the first chunk of work is going to be the backend work, kind of. I can log in as an admin via API. All right, let's take a look at that one. So I want to be able to post to the login endpoint with an accurate username and password, and then my password will be verified and an access token will be returned. We'll then manually have to save that access token as a cookie. All right. Now, in order to get this done, I need to have my Go API. I need to have a PostgreSQL database. They need to be connected. I need to have a user table and have manually added my admin Callie Stoscup to it. And I need that login route that calls the login service function that returns the access token. So this is going to be one of my main chunks of work that I need to do. Let's take a look at the other chunk of work. The other chunk of work is that I can see an appropriate header and footer when I load the UI. All right, so this mostly looks like front end work, but remember we need that user details route on the API still. But so this basically goes into that. So this is when the admin's logged in. This says what the heading should show versus anonymous user, what the footer should show, what clicking on the logo or company name should do, which is reload the homepage, and then temporary login status visible in the middle of the screen. So most of this is front end, but you'll see as I go into it, some back end work is needed. Anywho, that is my plan for sprint 1, which hopefully will be completed in 2 weeks. But I need to make sure that I not just allot time to code, but also to write code to test my original development code. All right, I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.